In the previous section, we discussed having energy enter or leave a system in order to change the temperature of something. Now we're going to talk about a closed system. So when we do calorimetry, we put our system in something called a calorimeter. And a calorimeter is a container that is an isolated system that does not let energy in or out. So whatever items you have in the system, the energy has to transfer in between them because there's no energy coming in or going out. That means that Q total is going to equal 0, because whenever you add the energy from the hot item to the energy gain from the cold item, they have to be equal and opposite to each other, so that when you sum them, you end up with 0. So remember, energy flows from hot to cold. So in this isolated system, when we add Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3, it's going to sum to 0. So examining this a little bit further, let's plug in our equation for heat. And let's just do this for 2 items just to emphasize. So if you have M1 times specific heat of 1 times the temperature final minus temperature initial of 1 plus object 2 times the specific heat of object 2, temperature final minus temperature initial 2. And this is going to sum to 0. Now often when we are doing these problems, we're going to combine the system and let it reach thermal equilibrium, so that your final temperature of both items is going to be exactly the same. And what we're doing is transferring energy from the hot item to the cold item. So if we say this one is hot and this one is the cold item, whenever we calculate Q, this Q is going to be negative and this Q is going to be positive. And this is going to come out of the change in temperature, because this temperature is going to be lower than this temperature, so when you subtract them you get a negative sign. This temperature here is going to be higher than this temperature here, so when you subtract it you get a positive sign. However, because it's a closed system, the energy has to go somewhere. That energy is going to go from the hot item to the cold item, and when you add that together you're going to get 0.